Hi guys, so today I am here to talk to you about adding color to your final mandala project. So before we start with color, let's review our project guidelines. Is there anything that you're missing that you need to address before adding color? These are all the things that we will be looking at for your grades, okay? So with the image transfer, we're looking for a complex image. Is your image complex? Did you cut some corners and maybe simplify it instead of making a more complex image? We'll be looking for image complexity. We'll be looking for accurate transfer. So the details look correct. The alignment is correct. They are, in fact, mirror imaged. Also that you chose something that is man-made or geometric and something that is organic. All right. Maximum area coverage. So you did not make a tiny design. You really thought about filling the space that you were given. That is not to say that there is not any negative space. There might be some, just that you have covered most of your paper. Let's see, drawing and outlining. I'll be looking at the quality of line, so that you have shown me some thick lines and some thin lines. With stylizing quality, again, we're looking at have you, accented some parts of your design with thin line and thick line, made some choices about what to make stand out. I'll also be looking for your negative space to be mostly filled with pattern. Not all of your negative space needs to be filled with pattern. You do want to create contrast, but that you don't have just gaping areas with nothing in them, okay? Next thing is color application. So I'll be looking for accuracy, that you're using a good stroke size. So, you're not using a gigantic brush for something that needs a lot of detail, for instance, right? With each medium, we apply them a little differently. So I'll be looking for you to use your best practices for each medium. I'll be looking for color blending quality. So for each shape, not circle, for each shape included in your design, I expect to see at least 2 colors or shades of a color per shape. You can have many more than that if you'd like to, but I'm looking for a minimum of 2. Color choice. How did you decide what colors to make it? Did you think about contrast? Did you think about color scheme? What sort of led you to choose your colors? Was it thoughtfully done, or does it look like you just picked whatever came in the watercolor kit? Okay. Remember, mix your colors. All right. Background quality. I'll be looking at, did you take time to really work with washes and things like that in your background to achieve some interesting blending. Artistic quality. I'll be looking at craftsmanship. So is it well made? And finally, is it finished and turned in on time in the requested way? All right. So look through this list, ask yourself, does my project right now, as it exists in the black and white, does it meet these criteria, or do I need to go back and address something before I start with color? All right, so you have at this point made a series of circles, hopefully on your design, and you have filled in the negative spaces in your design with different patterns. Again, the guidance here is to, when you come to a different circle, so a different circular area, you switch patterns. I am not going to be a stickler on this, but I do want you to use a variety of patterns. You might, for instance, have some cases where you want to, rather than sticking with what's inside the circle purely, you might want to look at, filling in the negative space, particularly shaped negative space. So I do want you to use a variety of patterns in the negative spaces, though. The next step is going to be to add color. But I do want you guys to change materials at each new circle section. So for instance, if I was going through this design and I did my outside circle section in watercolor, then my next section could be in colored pencil. With each new circular section, I would switch. Choices and requirements. You're going to see some things that we must use and some different requirements for the project here. First, no circles that are side by side should use the same medium. I do want you to choose a variety of colors. Again, each form should be made up of a minimum of 2 colors. Watercolor is a choice that you must use. I do want you to mix colors and blend carefully. You don't just use the colors right out of the kit. Mix your own colors. Think about all the work we did on that color wheel, right? Colored pencils are, again, a must use. So I want you to mix colors and blend to achieve gradients. If you are at home and you don't have anything other than colored pencils and watercolors, you are going to alternate between colored pencils and watercolors. You can choose, where to start, so you know what circles are going to be what, but you'll alternate unless you have other materials. If you do have other materials, you can use some other materials as well. Let's look at some more options. So you could choose to shade with a pencil. If you do shade a circular area with a pencil, I want to see at least 5 distinct shades of value. Okay, so 5 different shades of gray. If you're in the classroom, we do have alcohol markers. So I want you to layer and blend when you use your alcohol markers. We also have watercolor pencils that some of you have used in class. So again, you'll want to layer and blend with water. We do have inks in the classroom as well. I really only suggest you use these for the looser outer borders using wash techniques. The walkthrough for the mandala on Julie Kunstler's website gives the advice to use ink wash with salt on the outer edge. I'm not going to require that you do this, but if you like the look of the ones that you saw on her website, you could certainly use some wash, and you could certainly go for the salt and wash technique to get some texture. Other things here, artist choice. So this could be your favorite medium. I want you to use your favorite medium showing your best technique. So this basically covers any materials that I haven't covered. If you, for instance, have acrylic paint at home and you want to use some of that, that would be fine. I would caution you, if you choose to use acrylic, that it might cover up your line work. So practice with it first and get a good feeling for how you want to work with it. There might be some other material that I don't know about that you might like to use. If you are, if you want to run it, if you're not sure if the material you're choosing is appropriate, run it by me and I will definitely talk to you about your choice. All right. What color should I use? You can choose the colors you like for this project, but I do suggest using a variety of colors. I'm asking you to each shape, again, not ring, but each shape be composed of a minimum of 2 colors and that you're working on blending them together. Think about contrast when you're choosing colors. So light versus dark, warm versus cool, saturated versus desaturated. Contrast, when you choose contrast, it will make your piece dynamic. Do remember that warm, saturated, lighter colors are going to move forward to your eye. They'll pop out, and cool, desaturated, darker colors are going to back away. If you're looking for a place to start with color, you can always look to color schemes. These are tried and true ways of arranging color. Complementary colors, tetradic, analogous colors, triadic, square color scheme, a split complement. All of these offer different ways of working with color that are going to work every time. You could also try a color scheme generator. These are a lot of fun, actually. So here's some links for them. If you click on these links, they are going to take you to a website, and you can use them to either explore existing palettes or to generate random palettes and come to a palette that you like for your project. So again, you can explore existing palettes as well here. Let's see. Yeah, if I go to explore, it's going to take me to some existing color palettes. These were made by other people. Looking through one of these, you know, I recommend, I could look at color forever. You know, I just really enjoy looking at color and thinking about color. But looking at these palettes, you know, it's different than looking at, say, you know, a watercolor palette. These are going to maybe push you to mix color in a different way than you'd originally maybe think of it. Okay. All right, guys. My advice to you is to make a plan. So plan out your materials and colors in your sketchbook before you start coloring your mandala.